This video will cover setting up your forms executables and starting your web servers. I'm using the Exodus forms which are available from GitHub as my example forms installation. You will need to install Git for Windows, which you can find on gitforwindows.org. And now we're going to create a new directory on our C drive called Git, and we're going to clone from GitHub into that directory. First, we need to start a command prompt. And now we need to cd to the root directory. And now we need to create a new directory called Git. That's mkdir git. And we need to cd to that directory. And now we need to git clone into that directory. And now we have our example forms downloaded, we need to configure the form server. I'm going to copy a file into this forms directory I'm showing you. If you've configured your forms as I've shown in a previous video, then your directory structure will be the same. Copy this file background.png into that directory I've just shown you. Use the copy command as shown. We now need to configure our tnsnames.ora. Open a file explorer and navigate to this directory. Start an editor and edit tnsnames.ora. Create an entry for your database. And now we need to edit the formsweb.cfg. Navigate to this directory. If you've configured your forms as I've shown in a previous video, this directory should exist. Start an editor and edit formsweb.cfg. Scroll to the end and paste in the configuration as shown. This configuration is for the Exodus forms. Remember to save by either Ctrl+S or using the file save. And now we need to edit the default.env file, which is in the same directory as that formsweb.cfg file that you've just edited. Edit the forms path and make sure that your new git installed Exodus forms are in the beginning of that path. And remember to save your changes. We now need to create a number of batch files. I'm going to create a startexodus.bat to start the Exodus forms. On my desktop, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it startexodus.bat. I'm going to paste in the command that will start the Exodus form. Note here that the config equals PEM and my username and password is for the Exodus database. I'm now going to create 3 batch files, one to start the node manager, the other to start the WebLogic server, and the last to start the form server. I'll create all of these batch files on my desktop. I'm going to create a fourth file called stopall.txt. It's not a batch file, it's simply a text file. I can't get this to run as a batch file. You may have more success. Copy the commands as shown into this stopall.txt file. If your WebLogic software isn't running, you can start it now using these batch files. Run them as administrator and run them in the numbered order. Wait for each of them to complete before starting the next. They can take some time to start, but I've shortened the sequences for this video. Let's remove some of the clutter on my desktop by minimizing the windows whilst that starts. When this is showing as running, we can move on to the next one. And now the form server is running, we can now launch our form. Double click on Start Exodus.bat. We don't need to launch this as administrator. I'll now navigate around the form to show that it is functioning normally. And that all now seems to be running perfectly. Let's try and stop our form server. Open a command prompt as administrator. Copy these commands from the text file and paste them into the administrator command prompt. For the purposes of this video, I've shortened the sequence. It can take a little time to stop the servers. And that concludes this video for the installation of a form and the running of the form servers.